So you want to start a business in your 20s. Why? I mean, there's a lot you can do to spend time in your 20s, like socializing, traveling, having fun, and being a regular human being. But you want to start a business. You want to take a chance at doing something very few are able to do, with the possibility of wasting away some of the best years of their life. That's why you clicked on this video, right? Well, I got news for you. You've come to the right place. Because in this video, I'm not only going to tell you how to start a business, but we'll also discuss if you should even start a business in your 20s and how to keep the momentum going for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years or more. Okay, so diving straight into the first topic. How do you know if you should even start a business? Well, a business is right for you if you are not afraid to work hard and make sacrifices, not afraid to take calculated risks for potential future reward. You're honest with yourself, your wants and desires, no matter how selfish or altruistic they are. You want more autonomy over your time, your life, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve success. You have an abundance mindset. That is, you believe that there's something for everyone. On the other hand, a business is not right for you if your beliefs are the opposite to what I just mentioned. That is, that you're risk averse and get easily anxious, seek cheap thrills and quick wins all the time. You lack patience and expect rewards without earning them. You're not honest with yourself. You say you want to help the world when all you want is money. You have a scarcity mindset and want to keep everything for yourself. Well, at this point, you must be thinking to yourself, hey, who wants to be associated with the second category? This video is obviously bait. No, it's not. If you're honest with yourself, it is not. If you can just sit down in silence for 10 to 20 minutes and think about your life and what you want, I promise that you'll find out for sure which category you belong to. So do that. Sit in peace for some time and be honest with yourself. Even if you have these seemingly undesirable qualities, there's no need to feel ashamed because we can all change. I mean, I have. So, how do you start a business in your 20s? In theory, it's quite simple. To start a business, you need a product or service, and you need a market to sell the said product or service for a profit. But if you're a person in your 20s with no marketable talents, skills, or products, you really can't make money out of thin air. What you have in your 20s, though, are two of the most precious things ever: the time to experiment and the freedom to make mistakes with little to no long-term consequences. And what you need to do is utilize these two assets, time and freedom, to figure out just one thing, something you can do for the rest of your life, without any praise, without the promise of any monetary reward or fame. Something that gets you excited, makes you happy, something that feels like play to you, but feels like work to other people. And finding this something is hard. There's no denying that. Most people go their entire lives without even figuring out who they are or who they're meant to be. If you are among one of them who hasn't quite figured out what to do with their life, then maybe this will help. So I was reading this book called The Art of Impossible by Stephen Kotler. Fascinating book, by the way. I highly recommend you read it. And in this book, the author states that to accomplish the impossible, we need to make use of our intrinsic motivators as much as possible. Because when we use our intrinsic motivators, we look beyond the extrinsic drivers like money, fame, food, sex, etc. You're said to have intrinsic motivation when you do something just for the fun of it or for a challenge, not because there's a reward waiting for you or you gotta meet certain deadlines. And intrinsic motivators are these psychological concepts such as curiosity, passion, meaning, and purpose. You can read more about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation theory in the book, but I'm not going to go into much details here. But what I'm trying to say is that extrinsic motivators can only take us so far. Research says that when our basic needs like money, food, and sex are met, we kind of accept them as the standard and they stop motivating us. Intrinsic motivators, however, are what keep us playing the long game. They help us look beyond our immediate gratifications and into the future where we can accomplish seemingly impossible tasks. Even though the author makes most examples in the context of professional sports, I think the same principles can apply in the context of business as well. So if you want to start a business, it's actually better to do it based on something you enjoy doing an intrinsic motivator rather than just be in it for the money, which is an extrinsic motivator. Because when the going gets tough, you're going to need to harness the power of these intrinsic motivators to act as a fuel for your drives. The 5 most powerful intrinsic motivators being curiosity, passion, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. So, what are they? Number 1, curiosity. Curiosity is your innate desire to learn, to explore, and expand our understanding of the world. Curiosity is what drives innovation and keeps us engaged and excited about the learning process. Number 2 is passion. Passion is the driving force that fuels our commitment and lets us enjoy the journey. Because when we're passionate about something, we're likely to invest more of our time and energy into getting it done to the best possible capability. Number 3 is purpose. Purpose is what gives meaning to our lives and a sense of direction. It involves understanding our core values, finding a cause or a mission that aligns with those values and working towards it. Number 4 is autonomy. Autonomy refers to having the freedom and independence to make choices and take control of our actions. It means having the power to shape our own path, make decisions aligned with our values, and take responsibility for our outcomes. And last but not least, mastery. Mastery is the continuous pursuit of improvement and our desire to become the very best. It involves setting challenging goals, practicing with intention, and seeking feedback. The journey towards mastery brings a sense of growth, competence, and self-fulfillment. Now, before you do anything else, even remotely related to starting a business, spend some time thinking about this. Do you have an interest, skill, or hobby that's aligned to these intrinsic motivators? If you don't, be prepared to experiment with a lot of things to find out what piques your curiosity enough to eventually one day turn it into a business. This is different for everyone because we are all individuals with unique DNA and our own unique perspectives. Your goal here is to find a niche, as the author says, that activates all the 5 intrinsic motivators. To do that, you start by exploring your curiosities. Write down 20 to 25 things you're interested in and watch how your brain engages you during the process. Because the act of writing down your interests on a piece of paper is likely an act of novelty for the brain. And when you're writing or going through your list of curiosities, your brain will start giving you these little hits of dopamine as a reward when you see something that you're more interested in. Let the dopamine guide you towards the next step, which is finding your passion. In the book, the author states that passions are found at the intersection of your curiosities. So let's say 2 of my favorite curiosities are reading books on self-improvement and writing scripts for videos. I am much more likely to find my passion by combining these 2 curiosities, with the end result being producing YouTube videos on performance enhancement or self-improvement, like what you're watching now. If I add 2 of my other natural curiosities, like filming and video editing, then I can not only create YouTube videos on self-improvement, but also create videos that look really good and cinematic. If you start a business where there is no passion and somehow even manage to make it a success, the novelty of making money will run out very quickly. What you'll do then is spend years in search of that passion by starting one venture after another. And at that point of your life, lose a lot of time, which is now more precious than what it used to be in your early 20s. Yes, you made money in your 20s running a business you had little interest in, and you paid for it with time. Now what? Now you're bored and feel life isn't even close to being where it should be. Like there is a severe lack of sense of purpose in your life. Pursuing our passion solves the exact issue that plagues our daily life, which is finding a purpose. Purpose is about the why, the greater good, the reason behind all the things that you do. Finding your purpose might not be as easy as the other 2, but you can start by asking yourself, what problem do you want to solve? For me, at this point in my life, the answer is to become a better teacher, a better content creator, be someone who can inspire others. And for that, I'll need to first level up myself and gain mastery over a few critical skills that will allow me to create even better videos, get better at things like my writing, speaking, coming up with unique ideas, editing these videos, everything that's needed to convey my message in the most interesting and helpful way possible. That is my big goal. Here's another fun fact. You cannot skip the first two steps and come straight to discovering your purpose. You can find a purpose only when you've explored your curiosities, found your passion, and pursued it enough to be able to give yourself a chance to one day for it to become a purpose. The reason I'm able to produce content on a regular basis and publish 2 videos every week, like almost every week, is because I'm following my passion now. And this doesn't really feel like work to me. I love writing scripts like this one. I love recording myself talking, making mistakes, recording B-roll, making mistakes, editing all the clips together, making mistakes, and putting it all together. Then you have the final two intrinsic motivators, autonomy and mastery. Autonomy is the freedom to pursue your purpose without major obstacles getting in the way. And in my opinion, this is where a lot of people in their 20s get stuck, because in our early 20s, even if we have time and energy, what we usually lack is money. So if you're trying to pursue your purpose but have no financial means to back it up, life is going to be significantly harder compared to someone who does have the money to invest in their dreams. So if you want to start a business but don't have the time or money to do so, that means you don't have any autonomy. So you either have to make time and money to put into your business, or have to find, as sad as it sounds, find something else to do. And mastery is about getting better at the things you do. If you're going to start a business based on your passions, you're going to have to be better at it than 90% of the people out there, which, like I said, is easy in some of my previous videos, because most people are painfully mediocre at what they do because they only think that they're following their passion. And to achieve mastery, you need to harness the power of flow, which is another whole idea that we'll need another separate video to explore. What the author says is, as the final step, you'll need to attain mastery at whatever you do in order to achieve the impossible. But you're not achieving the impossible here. You want to start a business, which is very much possible. So you don't necessarily have to wait till you attain mastery to start something. You can start a profitable business and keep working towards gaining mastery at your craft as time progresses. That's how you keep the momentum going for years to come. You don't get better at doing something again and again. Not necessarily. You get better at it by finding new ways to solve the same problems in more efficient ways. This is how you make money from business. This is how you get better than 90% of your competitors. This is how you fulfill your dreams. When most people think that they know it all, you gotta present yourself as the eternal student in your quest to mastery. That is how you win the infinite game. Look, I understand. All this info might take some time for you to register. So if needed, make time to watch the video again if needed. You're in your 20s. Now is the time to do the inner work, to gain clarity and build a strong foundation. Clarity in your thoughts, in your intentions, goals, and motivations. You don't want to wake up one day in your mid or late 30s and think, fuck, I hate my life. So for the final part of this video, I'm going to give you some examples from my own life. With the help of some stories of my successes and failures, I hope I'll be able to help you gain more clarity on the subject. Treat this as a more advanced version of a summary, if you will, where I'm the punching bag. Failure, competitive gamer. So back during 2009 to 2012, I tried really hard to become a competitive gamer. I was motivated. I thought I had found my purpose. And I put in a lot of work and work towards mastery. In the process, I did manage to get better than 90% of other players out there. And luckily, I was also part of one of the best teams in the country. It felt like I was living the dream, but it didn't quite work out as a career because I didn't have one of the 5 intrinsic motivators. I had curiosity, passion, purpose, and mastery. What I didn't have was autonomy, because back then I was a broke college kid who just got out of school. Even though I was a great player, I just didn't have the money to travel around the country to attend LAN events. And what good are you to your team if you can't go to play LAN events? Plus my parents were pissed off at me all the time. Success. Being a writer. I got my first job in 2015. Coincidentally, it was somewhere around that time that I also discovered that I really liked traveling. And since I didn't want to get tied down by having a full-time job, I decided to quit after a few months and try my luck at freelancing. And it was a success because I had all the 5 intrinsic motivators working in my favor. I was curious about writing from a very young age. I was passionate about pursuing it, both as an art form and a way of making money. And the fact that I'd be able to travel whenever I want to was enough of a purpose to keep me improving my skills, which led to making more money. That's why my writing career eventually turned into a business in 2017. And at one point, by 2022, our team grew to a size of 28 people. While I might not consider writing to be my purpose anymore, I'm still reaping the rewards from it. It is because I got really good at writing at one point of time that I'm now able to create scripts like this one, create the very foundation of these videos. Because without good writing, none of this exists. Failure 2, 3, and 4, trying to get into the SEO affiliate marketing industry. It failed because I only cared about the money. I wasn't curious or passionate about learning. None of my 5 intrinsic motivators were satisfied. Trying to get into the Facebook ads industry. Again, only interested in the money. I'm pretty sure nowadays pretty much everyone can book 20 to 30 appointments per month for their client. Trying out travel filmmaking. This venture failed sadly because I had all the 4 intrinsic motivators working in my favor except for autonomy. I was curious about filmmaking and passionate about travel. My purpose was to teach others how to make cinematic travel videos. And because of my previous experience in video editing from back in the day, it didn't take a lot of time for me to put myself in the path of mastery. What I lacked was autonomy because despite having money due to circumstances beyond my control, I had no choice but to stay home more often than not. And even though my friend and I did go out a few times, it wasn't even close to being enough to start seeing any actual results. So, yeah, life sucks sometimes. It is what it is. You get unlucky. But hey, it's not all that bad because you do also get lucky sometimes. Which brings me to success number 2, Aristocrat Studio, our motion design company. I don't mean to brag, but we're probably one of the best agencies around when it comes to motion design. And the funny thing is, the company is successful with little to no involvement of my own. The kind of motion design work that we do doesn't really align with any of my 5 intrinsic motivators, but it still pays me dividends because throughout our many years of trials and failures, my partner and I managed to meet amazing people. People whose 5 intrinsic motivators are aligned with creating some of the most unique and intriguing motion and web design the world has ever seen. Right now, my goal is to create content to share the lessons that I've learned from my string of many failures and few successes so that you can start a business too based on your passions, your 5 intrinsic motivators. Look, I'm just gonna be honest here. I didn't know about any of this stuff before. It's just recently that I read The Art of Impossible. But when I look back at the things that I did and why I did them, it makes perfect sense as to why some ventures succeeded and others didn't. Whenever something didn't work out or I gave up sooner than expected, it was because not all of the 5 intrinsic motivators were satisfied. Now, when I have a seemingly great idea, I put it through the filter of these 5 intrinsic motivators to judge its worth. I highly recommend you to read the book again to know in more detail. So what's the key takeaway from this long and somewhat convoluted video? It's that you should take your time to find your passion instead of chasing money or any other forms of instant gratification. I know this sounds corny and there's probably like 100 other videos that say you shouldn't pursue your passion, you should always follow the money, this and all that. I know about all of that. Look, you can take my advice or leave it. But I know without a shadow of a doubt that health, wealth, and happiness comes from knowing yourself well and doing work that feels fulfilling. Sure, you'll encounter disappointments and failures all the time, but as long as you have the willingness to experiment and the drive to keep going, success will follow, I promise. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with a friend if you think it's helpful. I appreciate you all for watching till the end. Peace.